Hello, everyone. It is a horse show morning, and today Warren is going to his very first horse show ever. Good morning. Are you gonna go to a horse show? Yeah. Good morning, Walter. Hi. So just bringing him in to eat his breakfast and get him cleaned up and put his travel boots on. He is going to do a little baby combined test. So he's going to do an intro walk trot dressage test and a cross rail show jumping run. It'll be his first time off property since I've bought him. I always have to do a last minute tack check to make sure I have everything. Got my saddle and girth, there's the breastplate, bridle, bonnet, helmet, brushes, fly spray, boots. Saddle pads are all on that side, show jacket, all that good stuff. I think we are good to go. This is my lesson horse pal. He's also coming with a couple of students. Just arrived. I'm going to go check in and walk the show jumping course.
This you almost want to ride like a center line because it's very straight. And then you have to do the bending line to 6. Okay. So, and then 2 things here. This jump is going to push you that way. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they're going to want to fall out a little bit through that left shoulder. So really thinking about that square turn feeling. And then making sure you land here and ride straight before you turn to 6. Especially with Pal, making sure you land, get organized before you show him 6, especially because you're doing the squiggles next and he might look at those. Okay. Yeah. Meow. Going for a walk, checking it out. Good boy.
Alright, all tagged up, ready to go do dressage. He handled the warm-up ring pretty well to start. And then as we kind of went, he got a little bit more anxious, but the real nail in the coffin on that was Pal was back at the trailer and started to scream to him, and that made him a little bit upset. Warren's big thing is when he is worried about something or anxious, he freezes a little bit, so lack of forward is kind of what happens when he has some tension creep in. So we were just working on keeping him moving. You could tell he was trying to run a little bit sideways, but as long as his feet were moving forward in that general direction, I was happy. And at this point, I was really just trying to keep his brain on task until it was our turn to go into the ring. But overall, for his first time off property, first time at a horse show, first time in a ring with other horses, thankfully the warm-up ring was quiet, but still, lots of firsts for him. He handled it pretty well. It is our turn in the ring. I didn't know how he was going to feel about going away from the other horses that were standing around kind of behind where the camera is. Didn't know how he was going to feel about going past the judge's car. While we were waiting, he had a lot of anxiety, was starting to rear and couldn't stand still, flying sideways. So I was happy to just be able to get him moving. Now he's also screaming to his other horse friends. And he didn't want to go back that way. So again, I was just trying to keep his feet moving. So I was like, whatever, let's just go back this way. For the most part, as long as he has an opportunity to move his feet and get moving forward, he is okay. But when he gets anxious, he just tries to park a little bit. And I was just happy to let him go whatever direction that he was going to move forward in. This was very much just about getting him in the ring and getting through his very first dressage test so that we can build on it for the future. This is Intro A, so it's just a walk trot test. We don't even have to halt in the beginning. We just go down the center line. We walk between X and C, track right and trot at M. So we were doing a little bit of trotting sideways, but no big deal. I do think it's quite a big ask for these young horses to trot straight down the center line at the judge, whether they're in a car or they're in a horse trailer or they're under a tent. So the fact that we got that far down the center line, I'll take. And then I was happy to be able to go back forward again at M. We then come up to A, and do a 20-meter circle. And I was definitely aware of making sure I had my outside aids on here to guard him at A, because this horse definitely knows where home is, whether he's at home and trying to go to the barn or off property and trying to go to his friends or the trailer. But he started to settle a little bit as he got to go more forward. He's still very much new to the whole concept of bending and moving off the leg and reaching for the contact, and right now I was just happy to get through the pattern and get him in the ring, and I was happy that he wasn't spooking at the boards because I've had a lot of green horses not want to ride up against the boards that closely, so he handled that really well. And truly, as he went, he really started to relax a little bit. He even started reaching for my hand just a little bit there. And he actually ended up having a decently nice trot rhythm, so very good. So all that's left of the test now is just the walk work. Again, this test is the simplest of simple dressage tests. Just a little bit of trot, a little bit of walk. So we just have to free walk up the diagonal and go down the center line and do our final halt. I didn't expect too much relaxation in this free walk, but I was happy that he pretty much mostly stayed flat-footed and in the walk. He was trying to be a tourist and check everything out, but who can blame him? Lots of firsts and new things going on for him here. Got a little stuck as we tried to walk away from where he knows he entered the ring. Again, he's just so very much aware of where home is, this horse. And again, once we lose the task of trotting on nice and forward, he gets a little bit anxious and wiggly. So definitely wiggled quite a bit into that last center line and halt, but he did it. He stayed in the ring. Was it the best dressage test I've ever ridden? Certainly not. But getting these guys out for the first few shows is all just about the experience. It's not about the score. It's not about the ribbon, the placing. It's just giving them a good experience to build on, because you got to come do this stuff before it can get better. As a whole, super proud of him for just getting it done, especially considering how anxious he was getting just waiting for his turn in the ring.
Okay, Jane, what did you think about that test?
Well, we survived.
What do you think you're going to get?
I'm gonna go with the 55.
Emma,
you saw the test, didn't you?
what do you think?
58.
I'm right there with her.
I think it was great.
We stay in the four walls. I'll take it.
That's right. Look at Warren now. He's like, yeah, there's nothing to it.
Keep his buddy in his head. Once he's going, he's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just the waiting around.
And by the 10th cross rail, you'll be
Yeah, I
warmed
know.
up.
It'll be good.
You got many cross rails to warm up over.
No, you did good. You tried.
Now it is time for my students to do their dressage test on Pal. This is Michelle. She was doing the elementary combined test with him. So she's doing her starter test, which went nicely. She was working on her accuracy and a good rhythm and clean transitions, and she definitely achieved all of those things. And then here is Emma, my other student with us today, doing her dressage test. She is doing the advanced elementary or 2-3 combined test. She's been partnered up with Pal for a long time, so she's just working on the finer details of connection and bend and putting a nice consistent test together, which she also achieved. And now it is show jumping time for Mr. Warren. This is actually his first ever course. Like before today, all he has done is jump some single cross rails. So a little bit of a big ask for him to be in a big open field with fillers, and this is a 10 jump course, and he had to go out there all by himself, but he already was doing a better job of waiting by the ring for his turn than he did at dressage. I didn't actually warm him up over any jumps because these were so small, and the anxiety he had about the warm-up ring earlier this morning, I just figured it was best for him to go in. So we just got our bell that tells us we have 45 seconds to cross the start line, and we are headed to the first fence. So he typically is one that doesn't put a whole lot of effort into these small fences and just trots over them. So he took me a little bit by surprise when he deer hopped this first one a little, because he just wanted to get a good look at it. And then the second fence had these bright pink flowers, but also had a couple of spare rails behind it, which he definitely hung himself up on a little bit here. So we knew we had to get going a little bit. What happens here at this fence is completely my fault. I should have ridden it a lot more forward, considering it was the first fence going away from the other horses in the in-gate, and also he had just had not the most confidence building first two fences, so that was completely my fault for not riding that a little bit more defensively and a little bit more forward and positive. Not a big deal. Just let him look at it and reapproached, and it was not a problem this next time. And in fact, I think it ended up being a good confidence boost for him.
Oh, no, go away, bee.
By fence 4 here, coming up this blue one, he finally started to figure out picking his feet up a little bit. Good boy. And then I just tried to ride this more forward pace for the rest of the course. This was the part that we were walking where that white jump was going to push you out, so lots of outside aids on this turn. And I was proud of him with these two jumps, the watermelon and then these squiggles. Obviously the fillers are not under the jump, but they could still be pretty spooky for a green horse on the side. Super proud of him for this line. There was a good distance between them, but again, this is his first time jumping 2 consecutive jumps in a row in a line like this. And he even landed and offered a little canter, which was super exciting. So I just got off his back and let him travel a little bit. I did bring him back to a trot before the next fence because I didn't want to surprise him. And again, it was something going away from home. I wanted to make sure he was straight and gave him a positive ride. And it was just the last one to go. This was a super fun round because he started off so hesitant and unsure, and by the end I felt like he was taking me a little bit. I love when they grow up over the course of a jump round like that. So proud of him. He did end up getting a 46 in dressage, so not a good score by any means, but far better than I expected. And he was the only one in his class, so he even came home with a blue ribbon by default. But he was super proud of himself coming out of here. I love when you could feel their confidence build as they go. So, such a good pony.
It's got the swagger.
Next, it was time for Michelle and Emma to do their jump round. So here's Michelle in her combined test. She ended up finishing in 3rd place and gave him a really good ride. He can be a little bit looky about fillers and flowers, and she did a great job of just riding him positively forward and keeping him straight.
And a lead chain.
And then here's Emma in her round. She ended up finishing on her dressage score and placing 2nd in her division. So overall, very good day for everybody. And honestly, this was such a nice smooth round. It could have been a hunter equitation round. I think I told her it was the best round I'd ever seen her ride. But overall, a fabulous outing for both Warren at his first ever show and my 2 students. And that is all for today's video. Thank you for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Emma, that was the best show jumping round you've ever ridden in your life.